See, this is the let us therefore fear, because we're sitting under the gospel right now. But it doesn't mean that everybody sitting under this gospel has truly entered into that rest. There's some that people come for various reasons. It might be because they like people at Shreveport Grace Church. We're friendly people, so they come and they think, okay, I'll be back. Never having really heard, I'm talking about in the heart, the message. It takes the Spirit of God revealing Christ in the hearts. But there are many that, again, God, for his sovereign purpose, has left to themselves. They can't blame God. I know some people try to. They say, well, then if God isn't going to give me faith, then who can believe? No, they here squarely puts the blame on them to whom it was first preached. They enter not because of unbelief. God doesn't have to reveal Christ in anybody. And if he leaves people to their own will and nature, they never will believe. Do I fear sometimes? Do I wonder? In my flesh, I do. How can this be? How can this be? And yet, I believe God. I believe this word. And I know that if my sin was put away, when was it put away? When I believed? No, when he died. And if it was put away when he died, what remains, therefore, for God to charge me with anything? If Christ bore it. He's paid it. Full and free. Paid it. And that's what gives me hope. Even as Paul stands as Onesimus' guarantor, covering any and all wrongdoing. And you think about what that includes. Sometimes we think of the big sins. But even idling away time, spoiling Philemon's work, corrupting maybe fellow servants, all these things by what he did. Paul says, if he owes you anything, either by robbing you or wasting your goods, charge it to me. I'll stand good for all his debts and damages. And that's why we read Isaiah 53 a little while ago. It's the chastisement of our peace fell upon him, fell upon Christ. If you want to stir up people's emotions, start preaching against people's denominations. That's what Stephen was doing. He was telling them all your heritage in Abraham didn't amount to a hill of beans other than just fodder for the fire. Your profession is nothing. It says here they heard these things. You have to go back and look at the entire message that we saw last time, how that Abraham, whom they claimed to be their father, was so physically, and yet what did Stephen make plain to him? That God called him when he was still uncircumcised. You want to get a Jew mad, tell him that circumcision doesn't mean anything. There's some people today that believe that unless you've made your little profession of faith that you can't be saved. They base it on man's profession of faith. Try telling them that that doesn't mean anything. That if any are the Lord's, the Lord will call them without requiring their little profession first. It's the Lord that draws them. Or those that believe you can't be saved unless you're baptized. There's a whole group like that. Try telling them that baptism doesn't save. You'll get them upset. Because that's what they believe. Or how that the law that was given to Moses could not save. It was never given to save. Try telling that to people that have built their entire hope on how they're doing with the Ten Commandments. And even have the Ten Commandments on a little sign out in their front yard. In our neighborhood where I walk sometimes, that was a fad for a while. I wanted to go up and ring the doorbell and ask them, why are you putting out in your front yard the charges against you? What charges? That's what they are. It's what condemns. It's never given to save. Or try telling people like Stephen did that temple didn't matter. That God didn't dwell in temples made with hands. It was only built as a type of the Lord Jesus Christ.